Good day, everyone. I am Rain Bianca Perlian, along with my group mates.
Yana May, Austria.
Irene Jean Bantilan.
Jansen Harley Bella.
Aaron Joseph Estelona.
Yuan Ethan Kent Santos.
And we are here to give you a deeper understanding about molecules. Now, let's begin with Mr. Aaron Esquilona, who will give us the definition and understanding about what is molecule.
What is molecule? Molecule, a group of two or more atoms that form the smallest identifiable unit into which a pure substance can be divided and still retain the composition and chemical properties of that substance. It says here that when two or more atoms combine together chemically, they form molecule. For example, kapag ang two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom pinagsama, makakabuo ng water molecule or tinatawag na H2O. And that's how molecules form. Now let's move on to the next topic. How does a molecule of an element differ from a molecule of a compound that will be presented by Miss Yana Austria?
Are different from each other. Not all molecules are compounds because some molecules of one element of only one type of atom. So kapag sinabing molecule of an element, this is the combination of same type elements of two atoms or higit pang atoms. For example, molecular hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So kapag naman sinabing molecule of a compound, ito yung made of two or higit pang different kind of atoms. Example of this is carbon dioxide and hydrochloric, and that is how molecule of an element differ from a molecule of a compound. Now, can I call Ms. Perliang to discuss what is chemical reaction and its types?
Thank you, Miss Austria. Now, let's discuss what is a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is in which the bonds are broken within reactant molecules, and new bonds are formed within product molecules in order to form a new substance. So, dito naman sa chemical reaction, ito ay kung anong nangyayari sa mga molecules o elements upang makabuo ng panibagong substance. So, maraming types ang chemical reaction upang makabuo ng panibagong substance. So, dumako na tayo sa types of chemical reactions. First is the combustion reaction. Combustion reaction is a reaction with a combustible material with an oxidizer to give an oxidized product. So, dito naman sa combustion reaction is yung like sa combustion machines like tambucho or any kind of machines that uses gas and oxygens, then emits carbon dioxide and water. Kung makikita natin sa example, itong mga nasa kaliwa is mga gas and nag-combine sa oxygen. So, after ng chemical reaction, nag-emit or nagiging carbon dioxide na sila at water. Alam naman siguro natin na ang mga motor ay nag-emit ng carbon dioxide at water. Ito ay isang example ng combustion reaction. Next is the decomposition reaction. A decomposition reaction is a reaction in which a single component breaks down into multiple products. So, sa decomposition reaction naman, sa decomposition reaction, dito naman is pinaghihiwalay nito ang compound into smaller molecule or single element. Kagaya ng nasa example, dito na pinaghiwalay lang ang elements na meron ang compound elements. Next is the synthesis reaction. A synthesis reaction is one of the most basic types of reaction wherein multiple simple compounds combine under certain physical condition, giving out a complex product. The product will always be a compound. So, dito naman sa synthesis reaction, ito naman yung kabaliktaran ng decomposition. Kung sa decomposition ay pinaghihiwalay ang mga elements na meron sa compound elements, dito naman sa synthesis ay pinagsasama ang mga elements upang makabuo ng compound elements. Kagaya ng nasa formula at example, pinagsama dito ang mga elements na given upang mabuo ang isang compound elements. Next is the neutralization reaction. A neutralization or single replacement reaction is basically the reaction between an acid and a base, giving salt and water as the product. So dito naman sa neutralization reaction is also known as single replacement reaction since sa reaction na ito ay nagre-replace lang ng isang element papunta sa kabilang element o compound element. Kung makikita natin dito sa illustration at example na nililipat lang ang element. Kagaya dito sa zinc plus copper, di chlorine na nililipat lang yung chlorine sa zinc. So, displacement reaction in which two compounds react and consequently their anions and cations switch places forming two new products. So, dito naman as a double placement reaction, kung sa kanina ay single place replacement dahil nilipat ang isa, dito naman sa double replacement ay dalawa yung lumilipat. Kagaya ng pinapakita dito sa illustration at example, nililipat dito ang mga elements upang makabuo ng panibagong compound elements. And that is how chemical reaction work. Let's move now, what are chemical bonds? And that will be discussed by Mr. Johnson Bella.
So what are the chemical bonds? Chemical bonding refers to the formation of chemical bond between two or more atoms, molecules, or ions to give rise to a chemical compound. These chemical bonds are what keep the atoms together and the resulting compound. So how does chemical bond works? Kapag ang dalawang atoms ay either mutually nag-share ng electrons or nagdo-donate ng electrons para makabuo ng charge, and then once they are attracted to sa isa't isa, that's when the chemical bond form. Chemical bond has a different types, which are the ionic bond. It is the complete transfer of valence electrons between atoms. It is a type of chemical bond that generates two oppositely charged ions. Next one is the covalent bond. Covalent bond, tawag din sa kanya is molecular bond. It is a chemical bond that involves the sharing of electron pairs between atoms. Meron ding iba-ibang types ng covalent bond, which is the single covalent bond, the double covalent bond, triple covalent bond, polar covalent bond, and the non-polar covalent bond. Next is the metallic bond. Metallic bond, from the word itself metal, it is a type of chemical bond that rises from the electrostatic attractive force between conduction of electrons in the form of electron cloud of the localized electrons, which is makikita sa illustration sa PowerPoint. And positively charged metal ion, it may be described as the sharing of free electrons among a structure of positively charged ions na makikita more particularly on metals. Last chemical bond is the hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is a primarily electrostatic force of attraction between a hydrogen atom which is covalently bound to a more electronegative atom or group, particularly the second row elements on the periodic table, which are the nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. Now let's proceed to the roles of electrons that will be given by Miss Irene Bantilan.
Thank you, Mr. Bella. So, what are the rules of electrons? So, the rules of electrons are occupy orbits or generally fixed regions of space around the nucleus. These regions are also called electron shell or energy level. The electron closest to the nucleus are those mostly strongly attracted to its positive charge, and those farther away are less securely held. So, yung electrons is nai-influence siya more ng other atoms if palayo ng palayo sila from the positive influence ng nucleus. So, as a result, the more distant electrons are likely to interact with other atoms. There is an upper limit to the number of electrons that each electron shell can hold. So example, si shell 1, closer siya sa nucleus and small siya, and shell 1 is can accommodate only 2 electrons, and shell 2 can hold a maximum maximum 8 electrons, and subsequent shells can hold a longer and larger numbers of electrons. So, valence shell. Valence shell is the atom's outermost shell. This is the only electron that are important when it comes to bonding. So, let's move on to the last topic that we have, the 8th rule known as octet rule, and that will be presented by Mr. Yuan Santos.
Thank you, Ms. Bantilan. What is the rule of 8s? Also called as octet rule. The octet rule refers to the tendency of atoms to prepare to have 8 electrons in the valence shell, which is a fundamental principle that helps predict the chemical behavior of many elements and the formation of chemical bonds. Octet rule is a chemical rule of thumb The octet rule states that the atoms tend to gain, lose, or share electrons in such a way that we end up with a full outer shell of 8 electrons, similar to the electron configuration of noble gases. The octet rule provides a simple and intuitive explanation for why atoms bond with each other. This concept explains the formation of various types of chemical bonds, including ionic and covalent bonds, which are fundamental to the creation of molecules and compounds. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for listening and lending your time to our group presentation. We hope that you understand and learn something today. Thank you.